Okay, we're going to create a chart to illustrate the properties of whole numbers. We're going to divide the page in half, and we're going to skip about 3 lines in between each one of those categories listed. Now we could fold the page in half in order to get an idea of where the center is, or you could use your ruler. I'm going to draw it in pencil in case I mess up. Now, if you notice the one on the bottom, the distributive property goes straight across, so I'm going to draw a line almost to the bottom. Okay. Let's start on the top with the commutative property of addition. And on the right with the commutative property of multiplication. Draw a line. I'm going to skip 4 lines, and then I'll put the associative property. And the associative property of multiplication. Identity property of addition. And the identity property of multiplication. And on the bottom, I'll put the distributive property. Okay, let's go ahead and do some examples in each one. In the commutative property of addition, we have A plus B is equal to B plus A. One of the things we teach to our students is that the order of the two numbers does not matter. So if you're adding 2 plus 3, it is the same thing as 3 plus 2. In the commutative property, you're allowed to switch the two addends. Commutative property of multiplication, that's A times B is equal to B times A. So same thing. 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. Notice that the order of the two numbers changes. So let's go ahead and include that in there. The order of the number changes. The order of the two numbers changes. We started off with a 2, and now the 2's in the back. Okay. Let's look at the associative property of addition. And in this case, we have 3 numbers. So we're going to have A plus B plus C. I'm going to repeat the same 3 numbers, A plus B plus C. So whenever you have 3 numbers, you may choose to add the 2 numbers at the end, which is the B plus C, or you may choose to add the first 2 numbers in the front, which is A plus B. Either way, you're going to end up with the same answer. So let's look at an example. I don't have a lot of space here. So how about 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 2 plus 3 plus 4. No, 2 plus 3 with parentheses plus 4. So the order of the number stays the same. What's changing is the parentheses. So we always do our parentheses first. So this becomes 2 plus 7. On the right hand side, we do our parentheses first. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. And so we end up with the same answer. Same thing for multiplication. We can have A times B plus C, or we could have, so let's go back and rewrite that. That's A times B times C, or A times B times C. In the associative property of multiplication, it's A parentheses B times C is equal to A times B in parentheses times C. So we are multiplying the 3 numbers. Let me go ahead and highlight so this will stand out. And you can see the title here. And there we go, a little bit better. Okay. So let's go ahead and multiply 3 numbers. 2 times 3 times 4, or 2 times 3 times 4. Remember that the parenthesis means to multiply. Okay. So 2 times 12 is 24 over here. 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24. Notice on the right-hand side, I left my parentheses to indicate multiplication. So 6 times 4 is 24, while over here I dropped the parentheses, but I included the x for multiplication. Either method is correct. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is the identity property. In the identity property, we have A plus 0 equals A, identity property of addition, and in multiplication, it's A times 1 equals to A. Distributive property. In the distributive property, I have A parenthesis B plus C, now it's a plus sign, equals to A times B plus A times C. Okay, let's look at an example. So when you have a distributive property, we do not follow the order of operations and work on the inside of the parenthesis. If you remember in algebra, we would have like an x plus 4. So we choose to distribute the 2. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 3 and show my work here. And then I'll multiply 2 times 4. So notice how they want us to set up the problem first, and then we continue, so we don't skip that step. Okay, let's finish highlighting all our areas. As you're working on the homework problems, if you need additional examples, you can always attach a half sheet here and include some more examples, or you can use the back of your notebook for more examples. Okay, so let's review here. We have the commutative property. The order of the two number changes, right? A plus B or B plus A. Also, it's when we study the fact family, whenever we reverse the order like this. But notice in the associative property, the order does stay the same. So maybe we want to make a note here next to the associative. Now I wrote real big, so I don't have any space, but I can put it here in the margin. The order of the three numbers, ABC, ABC, does not change. Okay. And then we had the identity property and the distributive property. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this lesson.